Hello everybody, Steve Cunningham here, and welcome to another episode of From the Archives. I had to go all the way to the back of the vault to get the footage for this video. Out of all the stuffed pizzas that I've made over the years, this was definitely one of the best. Spinach Alfredo with grilled honey ham and chicken thighs. Before I get too far into the video, I do want to let you know that I was making the toppings for 3 pizzas, not one large stuffed pizza. I started things off slightly browning a little spiral ham, and then I did the grilled chicken thighs with salt, garlic powder, and olive oil. I also wanted to get a little flavor from some fresh roasted garlic. So I just gave it a good fine chop, added to a pot with just again a little bit more olive oil, and just cooked it till it was a little translucent with some slight browning. While I was cutting up this chicken and ham, I realized in this video I had yet to learn safe knife skills. So if you're chopping up a lot of meat, definitely do not do it the way I did there. After investing in high quality, really sharp knives for the first time, I learned with more than a few cuts, it was time to learn proper knife skill. It's still a work in progress, but I'm definitely getting better. Alright, that garlic was done, it was time to add in that ham and chicken. I turned off the heat and then I just gave it all a good mix together, and then it was time to start adding in the spinach and mozzarella cheese. I can't remember the exact amount of cheese and spinach I used. I know for the spinach, it was the baby spinach, and I used one whole bag that I just chopped up a little bit. And for the cheese, I just threw in several handfuls. For homemade pizza toppings, it's not an exact science. Just throw in whatever you want. Now for the dough, that's a little bit different. I'm going to have the full recipe for this dough in the video description. Now you're going to notice I don't measure it out here. It's just I've done it so many times, I really don't need to. The recipe I created here worked really well for the stuffed pizzas, but it's not an all-purpose dough recipe. It doesn't work great for thin crust and a variety of other different types of pizzas. But for the stuffed pizza, it works fantastic. Now I go back and forth between using the KitchenAid or using the bread maker to mix up my dough. If I'm doing smaller batches, I save myself some time on all the dishes and just use the bread maker. But if I'm going to do a lot of dough, potentially be freezing it, I definitely go to the KitchenAid. Alright, so once it was done, I just covered it with a lid and let it rest for 1 hour. Then I was ready to start stretching that dough out. Now you can stretch by hand or you can use a rolling pin. Obviously, if you're good at tossing dough, that's probably the best way to do it. But for most of us, the rolling pin works just fine. I rolled out 2 pizza crusts, one really big and one a bit smaller. I probably did 16 to 18 inches on that top one. It was way more than was necessary. I just wanted to make sure to have enough to fill the spring-form pan that I was going to be cooking this pizza in. I have a variety of nice deep dish pans, but over time, I've come to really appreciate these kind of inexpensive spring-form pans. They help me with a little trick I learned. About 2/3 of the way through the cook, I remove the outer ring and let it continue to bake all the way. It gives it an extra little bit of crispness to that outer crust. Alright, now it's just time to fill this pizza up, add that top layer of crust, crimp it on up, and cut off the excess. Once you've done that, you just want to put a few slits in there and let some of that steam come out, and then it's time for the sauce. I'm going to put a whole jar of Alfredo sauce on top of this one, but if you're doing a more traditional pizza with something like sausage and pepperoni or some other toppings, at this point you would be adding on the tomato sauce. Or you can bake it for a little while and add it on later. Once the pizza was fully cooked, I just sprinkled on some crispy bacon to make this pizza even better. I've had a lot of success cooking Chicago-style stuffed pizzas over the years, but this was by far definitely one of the best. And if spinach Alfredo is not your thing, use a red sauce and fill it with whatever ingredients you want. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit that subscribe button. That is what truly motivates me to create more content. Thank you so much for checking out my video today, and you all have an amazing week.